finally got some beautiful weather here. What do you say we take the Rotary Willys for a little drive? Now that we're back from our little Sunday cruise, how about some data from driving? I've been running this thing for about 2 weeks now, and let me tell you what I've found out so far. Alright, this is the nerd section, so if you don't want to hear all my nerdy Jeep Rotary data, you can stop watching now, but I encourage you to watch the whole video. I found out the Phytech EFI is working really well. It starts in all the different temperature changes we've had this spring. Drivability is the best part of it, I would say. It starts and idles well, but drivability, it just doesn't miss a beat. Acceleration's smooth, shifts are smooth, and there's no hesitation, so that's a huge deal for me. So I'm really happy with it so far. I've been running this thing about 2 weeks. The last tank I checked for fuel economy, I got 17 miles to the gallon, which for a Rotary, and with these gears and aerodynamics, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, let's talk about drivability and gearing. That's a huge concern for me. I'm picky. I like my clutch to be smooth and my gears to be spaced just right, because I drive these things a lot and I want them to be enjoyable. And so far, I'm really pleased with it. The only gripe I have is I gotta adjust the accelerator pedal or get used to it. Just the angle's a little off. I have big feet, but that's a minor issue. The gearing itself, I'm really happy with it. It drives a lot like a flat fender. It's geared short, which is what I wanted, but that RPM means you can hold it longer between shifts. I tend to start out in town and on flat ground in second gear. It's geared just about right. First gear is pretty slow, even in high range, if you want to get any kind of speed up. So second gear starts. Fourth gear I'm finding I like more and more for just cruising through town. About 35 miles an hour. It's just under 4,000 RPM, which sounds like a lot, but this engine with the exhaust I have on it right now really smooths out at 4, and it's kind of a nice cruising speed, and you have that RPM, so when you punch it, it really pulls nice in fourth gear. Anything over 35, fifth gear is nice, so I'm glad I have that overdrive. The transfer case does have a high range reduction of 1.7, so it's basically like I have 915 axle gears, which is crazy, but when you can wind out to like 8 or 9,000 RPM, it's okay. The more I drive it though, the more I find I really don't need to rev it out that much. I've been driving it, you saw in the video, I don't think I ever went over 4,500 RPM probably. Just drive it like a Jeep. So I'm not really winding it out in every gear, and it handles it just fine. It's so light and it's geared so low. I'm cruising around corners at 20 miles an hour in fifth gear and just roll back on it, and it goes. I find I'm shifting less or about the same than the TDI just because of the RPM range and the gearing, so I'm really happy with that. I got some questions about premix in the oil injection pump. I deleted that, and I am running premix 2-cycle oil in the gas. So one of the concerns is on when you're engine braking or a long deceleration, is the engine being starved for oil. And the FiTech system has an option to turn off or on fuel cut on decel. So it's set up from the factory so that when you let off the gas and you're rolling down a hill, it cuts fuel completely. I just went in and disabled that, and I can watch the air-fuel ratio on the screen, and you can tell if it's cutting fuel or not. So I have it turned off, so when I'm decelerating, it's putting in about the same amount of fuel it would at idle, and you can watch the AFRs, and that will protect the engine. It'll keep it from running out of oil on long downhills. And since I'm not running crazy speeds and towing trailers, there's really not a lot of scenarios where I'm putting a ton of stress, engine braking at high RPMs and stuff. But you do have to think about that. As premix amounts go, I'm running 1 ounce per gallon of some snowmobile oil. It's pretty good TCW3 rated oil. You know, these things are used to burning dirty engine oil, so that's a big upgrade. You do want to run an ashless, like a low ash oil, so that you don't foul plugs and carbon up your apex seals and stuff like that. I'm just telling you things as I think of them. I lost 280 pounds. Aren't I skinny now? No, the Jeep lost 280 pounds by doing this swap, and it is slightly noticeable. I took out 2 leaf springs from my front leaf packs to get it to sit a little better and not be so harsh. And I do notice less steering effort. It steers a little bit easier, you know, just like when you're stopped in a parking lot or something. There's a little bit less weight over that front axle. So that is a bonus. But other than that, I don't notice like a handling difference or anything like that. Trying to think of any differences since the last time I posted a video. I did add one more TR20 resonator. Made a huge difference. So I'm running 2 resonators, one in front of and one after that 14-inch Jones muffler. So that's one change, and man, it's so much more pleasant to drive now. The other thing I added so far was the sliders. You guys saw the video I posted the other day. And next I'm working on skid plates, because getting ready for trail season and got to protect that underside. So I'm going to do a transfer case skid plate, and I have, it's a little bit hard to see, but the clutch rod skid plate is done, and I have a slider on that side. I also made Highline U-bolt conversions for front and rear, so that on a spring under, your U-bolts will hang down below. So I made these plates on all 4 corners. You want a smooth underside. It's the only way to make these little tires touch the ground and get through everything. One other minor detail I've been working on were the shift boots. It's kind of an odd setup. All my stuff's odd, but I used an old surplus tent, still has the lettering on it. Made some shift boots. I just have to make a lockdown ring for that, and I'll put some foam in there to help with noise as well. Under the hood, I don't think anything's really changed since the last time you saw under the hood. I did add an overflow tank, and I'm going to add a sight glass to that as well, and did a double pulley on the alternator. If you watch my YouTube short, you saw a funny video I made on that. And not Rotary related, but I did do a little more digging on the history of this Jeep, and I found a few more F scripts. I don't know if you can see that. There's an F stamp there, and one right there. Some old Ford GPW parts. I think that's about it. I've been blabbing enough here. If you have questions, let me know. I will make more videos, and I know you want to see it on the trails. I do too. I'm a planner, so I got to get all these little details done before I go out in the middle of nowhere with no cell service and put this thing through its paces. So spring is coming. We've got a lot of good events. We're going to do some traveling to some of our favorite places with the Jeeps this summer. So thanks for sticking around, and look forward to showing you guys where we go. Stay tuned for another week in the Red Eye Garage. Catch you later.